The John Lebang Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised.
Scheduled programming to bring you a show on the edge. Broadcasting worldwide and out to the greater universe, you're listening to the John Lebang Show.
Well, for those of you who are expecting to hear Ralph Epperson for the whole hour, I'm going to apologize to you here in advance. We spoke earlier in the week. We were scheduled to record his presentation, which was going to debut here on the John Lebang Show. And he was going to challenge Darwin's theory of evolution. But Mr. Epperson, he informed me that he wasn't quite finished with his presentation and putting it all together. So by his request, we are postponing the airing of his presentation to some future date that we'll set down the road somewhere. But we did have a short conversation, and you'll want to stick around for that. But as fate has it, sometimes you lose something, as in not getting the debut of the presentation from Mr. Epperson tonight. But then you get something dropped in your lap. We have huge news to cover, ladies and gentlemen. You know what it is. Everybody's been covering it. It's been the talk of the country all week. And that's the Limp Letter Bomber. That's what we're going to call him. Because his bombs were so inept, nobody got hurt. And, well, that's a good thing. We don't want people to get hurt. We've been talking about how the country is just going crazy and people are becoming extremists. You can't help but wonder, going, wow, what excellent timing for the Democrats. I mean, it's like the ultimate October surprise, beyond the exoteric interpretation brought to you by the mainstream media and the agencies we so trust in this great country of ours. The mainstream media, man, they jumped right on this guy. I mean, they gave him a nickname right from the get-go. What a clever name.
The MAGA Bomber.
So clever, right? He was so MAGA that his bombs fell short. But the Limp Letter Bomber is being portrayed by the mainstream media. I mean, they jumped all over this. And how can you blame them, right? We have some questions to ask, ladies and gentlemen. But let's do this. Let's run some sound bites for you. Mr. Jeff Sessions had a press. I mean, there was an army of guys there. Everybody had to be part of this press conference on Friday because they captured this guy. I mean, you couldn't have done a better job if Hollywood would have created a movie around this guy. I mean, we're going to see this. Can you see it in The MAGA Bomber? The fall of 2018. I'm glad nobody got hurt. But when the convenience of the whole thing happens, it's sent to most of these people don't matter anymore, too. Everybody it was sent to, like Obama. I mean, what is he? He's not in the government anymore. He doesn't matter. Hillary Clinton, she gets one. She doesn't matter. And it's not like the authorities didn't know of this guy. He was arrested multiple times. He'd been in trouble with the law for years. So they had his fingerprints on file. They probably had his DNA on file. Let's listen to some of these sound bites from Mr. Jeff Sessions.
Over the past week, more than a dozen suspicious packages have been sent through the United States Postal Service to a media outlet, a Hollywood actor, and at least 7 high-ranking current and former political leaders in the Democratic Party.
So Mr. Jeff Sessions begins the press conference by saying, these were sent through the mail. Well, that's interesting. Can you please show me a package with a postmark on it? Because every package that has been made available to the public, the media, and the media then made it public, we don't see any postmark on any of these packages, let alone the bomb. It doesn't look too sophisticated, and obviously it must not have been that well engineered because none of them went off. So we have our first question of the night, and it begins with Mr. Jeff Sessions saying that these went through the post office. And if that is true, then where is the postmark on these packages? Let us continue.
Political violence or the threat of violence is antithetical to our vigorous system of self-government. It is a threat to that respect for law and process that allows our people to accept legislation, elections, court rulings with which they do not agree. This is the central feature of our system of government. You advocate for your beliefs enthusiastically, but we peaceably and lawfully comply with the results.
Notice how he put that in there. To me, that sounds like a little message inside the message. Now listen closely to these words.
Please know that from the beginning, this investigative team has made this matter a top priority, focusing their great talents and expertise on neutralizing this threat. They have moved swiftly and professionally, using extraordinary technical expertise to apprehend the one alleged responsible. This is a demonstration of the skill, capability, and determination of our American law enforcement.
We did such a great job. We found the guy that had inept bombs. We found him. We're awesome. We're awesome. All the law enforcement agencies involved, we did a great job. We did a great job.
He has been charged today with 5 federal crimes, including interstate transportation of an explosive, illegal mailing of explosives, threats against former presidents and certain other persons, threatening interstate communications, and assaulting current and former federal officers. For these charges, the defendant faces up to 58 years in prison. These charges may change or expand as the investigation proceeds.
So all they're doing is charging him so they can hold him, so he can't go out in the public. He can't tell you his point of view. There's no way he's going to get bond to get out of and to go on his own, because he's going to be a flea risk. He probably can't even get bond on that level because of who he is, just a nobody at the bottom of the barrel person in America that was struggling his whole life probably. He had nothing. Everything we can tell, he was just the average low-income guy who's just struggling to live. You know, the guy all the Democrats hate. He's been arrested, so it's guaranteed they've had his fingerprints on file. Most likely, they've gotten his DNA one way or the other. You couldn't have wrote a better October surprise. Let's continue.
Federal, state, and local law enforcement officers from across this country responded immediately to the cause and contributed to this effort. We are proud of each one of them.
We did a good job. Whatever we did, we did a good job. Everybody involved did a great job at catching the bad guy who had the limp bomb. It's all very interesting at a time when nobody trusts the FBI, at a time when nobody likes the Democrats, at a time when it looks like the tides were turning in favor of the Republicans again. They were tightening up all the races. Some guy just out of the woodwork goes nuts, sends a bunch of plastic bombs filled with who knows what. They won't tell us exactly what it is. And would you believe him anyways? let's take this somewhere else just for a minute here, just so you know where I'm going. This coming from an agency because, it's the FBI involved. They were the ones who helped out the Federal Reserve bomber make a bomb, although it was a fake bomb, so they could bust him. That was in 2012, folks. Now we have another Schmendrick. He looks like somebody who was on 24 or CSI. Big investigator guy. Let's listen to what he has to say.
As the Attorney General has confirmed, we have arrested Cesar Sayoc in connection with this investigation. As our investigation is still ongoing, I may not be able to answer questions about his background or about his motive. What I can say is that this was a nationwide investigation of enormous scope and of the greatest importance.
We did a great job. We did a great job. They did a great job, folks. Trust them. Trust our law enforcement agencies because they did a great job. Of course, they knew about this guy. He had threatened to bomb somebody in the past. Didn't pick him up, didn't send him away to prison forever, didn't get him out of the population, just let him sit there. They knew about him. He's been arrested multiple times, so they had his fingerprints on file. At some point, they probably, this is me speculating now because I don't want to say this is fact, but they probably, when you're in jail as often as this guy was, they probably have your DNA. Probably copped it somewhere. Let's continue.
And as it always does, the FBI responded with every resource we've got.
Let me play that again and then think about what I was saying about the Federal Reserve bomber.
And as it always does, the FBI responded with every resource we've got.
With every resource we've got. We know one resource is a tactic that they use where they supply fake bomb materials to terrorists so they can bust them. So we have a nut job with a long history of being in jail. He's a steroid user on top of that, so his brain's probably not all there. Send out bombs that are probably less efficient than a firecracker. I dropped a bigger bomb in the toilet earlier this morning. You've known about the guy. There doesn't seem to be any postmarks on the packages that we are being shown. Actually, I don't have the video on today. I was going to show you the cups, but I have these beautiful John Lebang Show cups. Quick little advert, if you let me indulge myself for a moment. These little cups here, which, probably weigh as much as what was sent in the mail to all these former Democrat, higher-ranking people, CNN. This glass, I would say this cup right here, empty now, probably weighed at least as much as what they're saying was sent to these politicians. These things cost about $9 to send to somebody. I can't just throw on 6 little stamps, forever stamps, and mail my glass package to anybody in the country. But this guy, with no postmarks, somehow sends a $3, they're 50 cents right now, right? Stamps are 50 cents right now. So they send $3 worth to send this package. That's pretty cheap. Got to give credit to the post office. I don't know why my post office isn't that cheap. This guy can send packages all over the country for $3 a piece, no postmark. So, man, I don't know how that happened. Is there a postal worker out there that can tell me how the postmark works? And can you tell me why they even have a postmark? Because this one doesn't have a postmark. Look at these packages being displayed for the world and tell me where the postmark is. I don't see one. And I can tell you $3 is not going to be able to send a package, at least not in my neighborhood. Didn't cost me $3. I would have sent a whole bunch out if it was only $3. I probably would have sold more as well because people would only $3 for shipping. I was charging like $6 or $8 for shipping and covering some of the loss on the shipping for these things. I would have more sales. But apparently this guy can send packages all over the country with $3 on each one of them. I want to go to that post office. Just saying. Let's continue.
But, and I really can't underscore this enough, we did not act alone.
Now this is the FBI guy saying they didn't act alone. He's also said that they used every resource they had in apprehending this guy. Let's listen carefully to the next curious statement.
A threat of this scope and of this magnitude requires all of us working shoulder to shoulder. And today's arrest is a testament to the strength of our partnerships and what we can do when we all work together.
We did a great job. We did a great job. That's all. That is the theme of this press conference.
We can confirm that 13 IEDs were sent to various individuals across the country. Each device consisted of roughly 6 inches of PVC pipe, a small clock, a battery, some wiring, and what is known as energetic material, which is essentially potential explosives and material that give off heat and energy through a reaction to heat, shock, or friction. Though we're still analyzing the devices in our laboratory, these are not hoax devices.
Did you catch that last thing? These are not hoax. Why would he emphasize that, I wonder? Why would he emphasize that? Is it because we know the prior history of the FBI and we know they've used tactics like giving people the equipment and the means to make bombs so they could bust them? We're going to take a quick break, folks, but when we return, we're going to continue this. Hey, Uncle Shady, where are they going?
Hey, you, get back here. The John Lebang Show will be right back. Check out the new book from Derek Shelmerdine,
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It tells the story of rock and roll from its roots right up until the mid-70s punk.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Not just the music, but also the events that shaped the music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It includes the backgrounds to recording sessions, singles, album releases, births and deaths, epic concerts, and festivals.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Shelmerdine has made a painstaking effort to document pretty much every event that would prove significant in shaping popular music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Purchase the book at www.rockandrollunraveled.com. Follow him at Twitter at R&R Unraveled and look him up on Facebook at Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
By author Derek Shelmerdine.
Available now.
Hey, man, you're listening to the John Lebang Show, man.
The place where chronic brain cell rejuvenation happens.
Feel like you're getting any smarter yet? Yeah. As we continue the coverage of the press conference by Jeff Sessions and all the law enforcement agencies and the post office, everybody included, here's our next clip for you.
I want to focus for a moment on the amazing work of our folks at the FBI lab. Based on their initial analysis, they uncovered a latent fingerprint from one of the envelopes containing an IED that had been sent to Congresswoman Maxine Waters. We have confirmed this fingerprint is that of Cesar Sayoc. There is also a possible DNA connection between samples collected from pieces of 2 different IEDs mailed in separate envelopes and a sample previously collected from Sayoc in connection with an earlier arrest down in Florida.
Earlier arrest down in Florida, they had his fingerprints and DNA. They already had his DNA and his fingerprints because he was arrested in the past, making bomb threats to people and other malicious insinuations. And he was still on the street until he went overboard. Let's hear some more information.
This is phenomenal work with the greatest pressure under an incredibly tight time frame.
We did a great job, great job, great job.
We see unbelievable work like this on TV and in Hollywood, but to see it up close in reality is something to behold.
Did you catch that? We see this stuff on TV, Hollywood, but it's really cool when we see it right in front of us. Doesn't that get your brain thinking, like, what's he mean by that exactly? Just play the next clip, please.
So we need the help of everyone out there, every citizen, everyone in law enforcement, everyone we've got to help with this investigation in the days to come. If you've got any information, please call us on our tip line at 1-800-CALL-FBI or our email line tips.fbi.gov.
If you see anything, ladies and gentlemen, hey, your neighbor that has the MAGA sign or wears the MAGA hat, call the FBI. We'll check them out. Don't you worry. You see a guy with a Trump sign that's dangerous, folks. You see a Trump sign in somebody's front yard, call the FBI. We'll check into it for you. Don't worry. We'll intimidate everybody who has a MAGA or a Trump sign or maybe even a Republican sign. We'll intimidate everybody so they don't make bombs that don't explode in the future. Let's continue.
Of course, if you see something suspicious activity, please call your local authorities.
Trump sign. Go ahead, call the local authorities. That's suspicious now because the guy had the van with all the Trump symbolism on there and the anti-Hillary and the anti-CNN. I mean, it was made in Hollywood, folks. Did you see the van? All the Trump stickers and everything? You're in Florida with that hot sun. And all these Trump pictures and Hillary's pictures and all this anti-CNN stuff, none of it looked faded. None of it. But hey, whatever. Living in a van down by the river, I'm just going to put this up on the side there. So our next bite comes from Kojak. I forgot what agency he's from. But he's got some more to say on this issue.
When it comes to terrorism in New York City, the NYPD doesn't do anything without the FBI, and the FBI doesn't do anything without the NYPD. That's a partnership that was forged in fire.
A partnership forged in fire. Do they mean the fire of knowledge? Do they mean the fire of Lucifer? Satan's fire? What is it exactly? The fire of a phoenix? The fire of the World Trade Center towers? What does that mean? Agencies from across the country were involved, ladies and gentlemen, to bring this operation. Let's continue because Kojak has more to say.
Today's arrest means that New Yorkers and indeed people across our nation are safe. But as Director Ray said, there might be more packages out there, so everyone still needs to take caution. And if you see something out there, call 911.
Hey, if you see a suspicious package being brought into a house from a MAGA supporter, call 911. Call every time you see somebody driving around with a Trump sticker. Call them, 911. We'll make sure we'll get law enforcement because we have partners all across the country and we'll detain them. Heck, we might even supply them with bomb-making material that doesn't work so they can go do the same thing so we can arrest them as well to make you feel safer, ladies and gentlemen, because we do a great job. Now, this next soundbite is so revealing, ladies and gentlemen, that you might not have caught this during the press conference that you were listening to. But I sure did.
Thank you also to the media for broadcasting the photos the NYPD released.
So Kojak is thanking the mainstream manufactured news media. That's right. He's thanking them for putting out the pictures that they produced. Those pictures don't have any postmarks on them, so I don't know how they were sent through the mail. $3 in postage somehow got it to all parts of the country. Unbelievable, because I pay so much to have these. I want to know where this post office, because I'm going to drive there and mail out my coffee mugs. Now they're probably going to raise prices. Now they had trouble at that post office because they let everything through. We got to raise prices, more security. Was this the post office without any X-ray detectors? Oh, John. It was plastic and it was a clock. But the wires had metal. They couldn't tell there was little wires just hanging around something oddly in their X-ray detectors, or don't they have those? I mean, didn't we have the Unabomber or whatever it was? How come he gets the Unabomber and now we have the MAGA bomber? I think my title for the bomber is better, the Limp Letter Bomber. Because they were just limp. They didn't blow up. Nothing blew up. I mean, it's good that they didn't blow up. Let's be honest there. But they didn't blow up. So he's not really a MAGA bomber. You can't make America great bomber. Nothing was great about the bombs. Nothing. Nothing was great about the package or the person. So you can't really call it a MAGA bomber. Impotent bomber. How's that? You like that one better? I like the Limp Letter Bomber, personally. Now let's get to the news cover. Oh, well, actually, we have more to talk. We have more sound bites for you. Some new guy up there. Let's hear what this Schmendrick has to say.
5 days ago, on October 22nd, law enforcement recovered the first device from a residence of George Soros. Over the last 5 days, as more packages were found across the country, delivered to former presidents, federal officials, and public figures.
We have to get into this because George Soros is very interesting. His little part in all this. The Soros bomb seemed very suspicious to me. Let's look at it on its face. You have a caretaker on the property who picked up the mail. He sees a suspicious package, yet he takes it out of the mailbox and puts it in the woods. Why would he handle a suspicious package at all? There they say the package was hand-delivered. But Jeff Sessions says they were all delivered by the mail. Which is it? Is it both? If it is both, why didn't you tell us it was both? You said these were delivered by the mail. In these manila packages with $3 worth of postage on it, with no postmark on it, sent by a man, this is what they're saying, sent by a man who's been in custody multiple times, who's been fingerprinted, who they have taken his DNA from in the past, who's got a bunch of MAGA stickers that haven't faded in the sun, a bunch of Trump stickers, a bunch of hate Hillary stickers, and a bunch of hate CNN stickers all over his van. None of them faded from the sun. Things don't add up to me. I'm glad these packages didn't explode. We don't want people getting hurt, no matter how much you dislike your political opponent. That's not what we do here in this country. But seriously? This is the story we're supposed to believe? I mean, this is like a Lethal Weapon 5 episode or something like that. 24. Yeah, where's Jack Bauer? Did Jack Bauer find this guy? Because only Jack Bauer could do it in 24 hours. Let's be honest, folks. CSI never gets it done in 24 hours. That takes days. All the other, even Kojak. Kojak took days to find his perpetrators and get them arrested. Clint Eastwood, it'd take him a while to round up everybody, but not Jack Bauer. So Jack Bauer must have been on this case. That's what I'm saying. Do we have any more sound bites? Oh, we have 2 more sound bites for you. Here's that last Schmendrick.
I want to take a moment to thank our partners, the Joint Terrorism Task Force, the FBI, the NYPD, U.S. Postal Inspection Service, New York State Police, the ATF, the hardworking career prosecutors and investigators in the terrorism unit of the Southern District of New York, and I would also like to thank the extraordinary cooperation we received from the Southern District of Florida. Thank you.
Glad to see they have a terrorism unit, not a counterterrorism unit like Jack Bauer's part of, but a terrorism unit, because you never know when you've got to do some terrorism. Unbelievable. And you notice that each one of these guys, we did a great job as a collective unit. You should be proud of your law enforcement agencies. We did such a great job at capturing a guy who sent out a bunch of crappy bombs that didn't work. They looked like they were made of, cheese and plastic pieces of crap. No intelligence at all. The guy was, what they're telling us, he was a multi-perpetrator of crimes. I think they even said he lived in the van. He lived in the van. I guess you can do that in Florida. I don't know. You can't do that here in Michigan. Freeze your tail off, especially in the coming months. And here's our last, because we've got to get one more guy in. Now we got to get the postal guy in, because everybody else was there. So now we got Charles Barkley from the Postal Service up next. He's going to go ahead and give you his few words, because everybody had to have a speech at this.
We in the Postal Inspection Service have a great deal of expertise in responding to and investigating suspicious mail.
They did a great job here, didn't they? They did a great job, because somehow it got through, not only not having a postmark, but it got through to where it arrived to the people it was supposed to arrive to. Great job there at the post office. You guys are doing great work.
Postal inspectors are trained to respond and investigate dangerous mail items in the mail. These dangerous male investigation specialists are highly proficient in the use of state-of-the-art equipment.
Except x-rays, except whatever other means they have at their disposal to detect items that would be possibly dangerous. We've got to take a quick break, folks. On the other side of this, we got Mr. Ralph Epperson. Stay tuned.
Don't move a muscle.
John Lebang Show, right back.
With lots of fun and excitement. Yes! Pane in the Glass, commercial and residential window cleaning for a beautiful sparkling shine that's crystal clear. Call Pane in the Glass Window Cleaning. You can find them on Facebook at Pane in the Glass.
Hey, man, it's at the bottom of the hour, man. Do you know where your kids are, man?
If you want to contact the John Lebang Show, feel free to send an email to jlebang@live.com. And if you're on Twitter, look him up at John Lebang. And don't forget to go to his Facebook page at The John Lebang Show. Banger. Now here's John.
And coming up shortly is our guest, the world-famous author, Ralph Epperson. We've got to give him a quick call here, so we're going to dial him up. Here we go. Live radio. Gotta love it, huh? Try it again. There he is. Ringing. That's a good sign.
Yeah. Hi, the Ralph Epperson.
Ralph, John Lebang, welcome to my show.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes, thank you for inviting me, John. It's a pleasure to talk to you and your listeners.
Let me give a quick introduction for those people who may not have heard of you. You're the author of the books The Unseen Hand and A New World Order. They can look you up on the web at www.ralphepperson.com. And you consider yourself a student in the conspiratorial view of history. I actually think you may be the expert.
Let's say this, John. I've been doing it for over 50 years. I didn't start out with any intention of doing this. I just stumbled into it way back in 1963 when I was in California working in the Goldwater campaign. People urged me to read revisionist history. And I said, I don't know what that is. I was a college graduate. I didn't know what that was. So I started reading, and 1,100 books later, I now know that I'm right. There is something going on in this world.
Well, on behalf of my listeners, thank you for coming on the show.
I do every talk show that's ever offered. In fact, can I take a minute of your time?
You're more than welcome to talk about whatever you want, Ralph.
Let me tell you a story. I don't travel anymore because I'm getting too old, and I can't sit in an airplane for 4 hours, and so I don't go anywhere. I can't drive even. So I'm getting old, and I'm still working. As I just produced a new DVD for an hour, and it took a lot of time, but it's very well done, I believe. Anyway, let me tell you my story. I was asked to speak in some city near Pittsburgh. And it wasn't in Pittsburgh, it was suburban. A guy invited his friends and the other patrons. There were probably 50 of them there. So he paid for my ticket, and I got a hotel. So I went there, and a couple of days before I left, he said, listen, would you be willing to do a talk show while you're here? I said, tell me when. Book it. He said, well, I want to warn you, this guy doesn't believe us. I said, wait a minute, you're telling me? He says he won't even let us talk about it. And he's our local talk show host. Well, it's actually in a city that reached, like it's Cleveland. He's in Cleveland, but it reaches this little suburb of Pittsburgh, wherever it is. So they're able to listen to it. So they call in, talk about conspiracy, clan, goes to the phone. So I said, book it. I'll go there if I have to crawl. I'll hike. Tell him if he'll agree to it, let's do it. So he said. So as we're driving, he said, I want to warn you, he won't take your call. He doesn't want to talk to us. I said, okay. He's agreed to this. So I went there, and the two of us walked into the radio station, and I gave the lady my card and said, I'm here to do the talk show. Yes, thank you, I'll notify. And so a few minutes later, the young host, probably, I would guess early 30s, came out. Young man, very clean, nice-looking young man. He said, how you want, as we're walking by, how are you going to handle this? I said, well, let's sit down. We got a couple of minutes. I'll show you. I said, I want to be honest with you. I'm going to call him Jim. Jim, the people that brought me here to lecture told me that you won't listen to people like me who believe in this. So I said, but I'll be happy to show you. I'm going to show you right now the literature. And when I'm through, you're going to have to admit we're right. How are you going to do that? I said, sit back and wait. So, hi there, Ralph Epperson. You're from Tucson. Tell me about it. Yes, I'm here. So I said, I want to talk about conspiracies, and I'm going to prove to you right now on the air. And when I'm through, you're going to admit, you'll have to admit that I'm right. And we'll do it in half an hour. So I had my books with me. So I had a copy of Bill Clinton's book called Putting People First, written in 92, whenever it was written. So it's published by him. It's him and Al Gore putting people. We wrote the book to get people to read it so they'll vote for us. So he quotes the entire speech he gave when he accepted the nomination at the Democratic Convention. And it's word for word a transcript of that speech. I've got it on tape, but I did not listen to it, but within hours after he spoke, I must have had a dozen phone calls. Did you hear what he just said? I said, who? Bill Clinton, what did he say? He said there's a conspiracy. So what? So I checked it out, and sure enough, he did. Here's what he did. So I asked him, I had the book in my hands, and I said, he's become my expert witness. I said, what's the name of the book you have? It's called Putting People First. I said, who wrote it? Bill Clinton. When did he write it? Flip, flip, flip. I'm going to make it up. 1992. Flip, flip, flip. I said, okay, go to page 230, 217. Flip, 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 flip. What's on page 217? He said it's called a speech at the Democratic Convention, so-and-so night, other so-and-so night. And it's his acceptance speech. And I said, did that become public? Yeah, everybody watched it because that's all that was on TV. And all three channels had it. It was 92, whatever it was. We didn't have cable, so everybody watched him say this. I said, okay, now flip to page 231 and read the underlined. And that's where Bill Clinton admitted that Dr. Quigley got him into politics. And I said to myself, I said to him, who's Dr. Quigley? I have no idea. But he said, John Kennedy and Dr. Quigley. I said, first of all, who's John Kennedy? Well, he's President Kennedy. I said, did you know that he met him? And I said, yes, there's a photo. I said, there's a photograph to convince us that he met John Kennedy in person. He's shaking his hand. So I said, that's part of the reason why. But who's Dr. Quigley? I don't have any idea. So then I handed him my copy of the book, Tragedy and Hope. I said, what do you have in your hands now? I've got the book Tragedy and Hope. I said, who wrote it? Flip it open to the back page of the what's it called? The book cover, dust cover. I said, read what it says. Dr. Carl Quigley is a professor at so-and-so, Georgetown University, so-and-so, and a graduate PhD at Harvard and Princeton. I said, okay. Now, do you know where Bill Clinton went to college? No, I said I said he went to Georgetown. Now go back to the quote, page 231, and read what it says. And I said, I want to paraphrase. I want to thank John Kennedy and Dr. Carl Quigley for getting me into politics. He said Dr. Carl Quigley of Georgetown University. So that's what he said. Clinton said it with his own mouth. So I said, okay, now, do you believe that Clinton read the book? And I said, you could read that on the back of the cover. I gave you the copy of the alumni magazine for Georgetown, and there's an article about the 25 years after 68 or where it was Clinton went there, and there's a picture of Clinton with a bunch of his students there standing, smiling, everything else. So it's 25 years, and it said Dr. Quigley's book was required reading. So we know that Bill Clinton read this book. I said, okay, now open it up to page 950 and read what's underlined. So he talked. And there is an organized conspiracy at work in the world. I said, what? What did Bill Clinton just say? Said Quigley. I said, keep reading. And it does this, and it does this, and it does that. And I said, what does that mean? Does Bill Clinton believe in a conspiracy? Clinton had to because he praised him. That means he accepted. Would you say that he accepted what Quigley taught him? Yes.
Yep.
That's what he did. That's why I praised him. I said, if I was giving that speech, I would have said, I took a class in Georgetown University by Dr. Carl Quigley, and he convinced me there was a conspiracy, and I'm out here to expose it. Did Clinton try to expose the conspiracy? No. So I said, read page so-and-so, page so-and-so, page so-and-so. Now, he's reading the book in his hands. There's an organized conspiracy. Quigley taught Bill Clinton. Now, I said, did Clinton praise Quigley or chastise him? No, he praised him. What does that mean? He believed in what he said. Does that mean that Clinton means there's a conspiracy? Well, I guess so. I said, thank you very much. Now, start taking calls. I had him. The books by Quigley and by Clinton in his own hands. He's never done that. He has no idea. He didn't even know who Quigley was. No, many people knew. So then I said, I got through with the program, and he thanked me very much. I walked out the door, and as we're driving back, he said, "Boy, you did a great job." I said, "Well, thank you very much. I did what had to be done." And notice he was my expert. He's on trial. He's the expert. I'm asking him questions to answer the questions from the evidence he's got in his hands. He said, "Yeah." A couple of weeks later, he called me back and said, "I want you to know, suddenly he's taking our phone calls." But see, once again, I'm doing that with Darwin. I'm reading his own book. In my DVD, I give you the page number.
That's how I do my research. I'll use people's own words to show who they really are, and hopefully, in the process, we can clean up the world a little bit and maybe expose the people who need to be exposed.
Listen, I taught that class at Mount Hood Community College for 2 quarters in 1973, when there was none of this stuff out, very little. And I taught them economics and conspiracy as much as I could find. I would bet this is not 2018, probably 2 years ago. I had a phone call from one of those students. That was 1970. That's 27 and 16. That's 40-some years later. He called me and said, "Hi, Ralph. Boy, am I surprised. I'm pleased that you're still alive." I said, "Yeah, I'm indeed." He said, "Who's this?" I think his name was John Hutchison. I don't know, it doesn't matter. He said, "I'm John Hutchison. I remember you." John Hutchison and about 6 of the other students, only had 17, paid for the class. 7 of them took the class the second time, next quarter. Why would they do that? The dean, I'll end with this. The dean called me in to his office after about 3 months or so. Or a couple of months, because it was a 3-month class. He said, "I want to show you something." He said, he handed me he sent out a form letter anonymously. I want to talk about Ralph Epperson, your teacher. And number one, was he always prepared? Was he sarcastic? Did he pray, make you angry? Did he argue with you to call you fools? And they wrote down, and give us a summary of what you think. Some of the students said, "This class should be taught to everybody at Mount Hood Community College. This guy," and this is what really pleased me, he said, "This guy's got the ability to take complex subjects and make them simple. Isn't that what education is?"
That's what it should be.
What's wrong with that? That's what we're supposed to be doing. I went to college and I couldn't understand the guy. He's speaking English for Zot's Greek to me. That's not education. That's indoctrination. I don't even know what he said. I look back at those periods. What did I pay for? Well, forgive me, my parents paid for it. I didn't have a scholarship.
I like hearing stories like that. It's very interesting.
Okay, let me give you one last one. This will help you. Last story. Little Ralphie's up in Phoenix, 120 miles. That's our state capital, Phoenix, Arizona. And I'm doing a gun show. And it's a Saturday-Sunday thing. So you come Saturday morning, and then even come back Sunday. And so I'm there with they give you a table and a couple of chairs, and you could get electricity if you need it. And I paid them to let me have a table. So I'm one of 100 or so. But people are walking by, so I had a big sign saying, "A conspiracy wants your guns." And I thought, boy, these people, if anybody don't want to know about that. They know that it's true, but let me document. I had books onto my table. So I decided it ends at 4 o'clock. They shut it down at 4 o'clock. So people, other tables, guys, are closing down at 2 or 3 because it's slow. I said, no, it's not slow. I'm going to wait. And then even the people who are closing down have to walk by my table. I'm staying until 4 o'clock, and then I'm going to shut down. So it was kind of slow, and a young college student, I'm guessing late 20s, so he might have been a Vietnam veteran because he had a backpack on, and he wore the typical jeans and T-shirts, whatever it was. So he walked by. Now, I'm not a huckster. "Hey, listen to me. Stop right here. I got this book you got to read." I don't do that. I got my table, and I'm standing there, and I'm friendly looking. I'm not going to bite their heads off. I don't huckster it. I just let them pass by. If they show an interest, then I'm happy to talk to them. So he walked by, and as he did, he browsed at my table. He saw me and then looked at my table because there was probably no tables around me. Maybe a couple, but he walked past me, and then he stopped and turned around and said, "Did you write that book?" I said, "Which one?" He said, "That black one." I said, "Yes, The Unseen Head." He said, "Listen to this now. I am within 1/2 of a semester of getting my master's degree in history." And he said, "I want you to know, I read your book, and I learned more about my field of history in your book than I've learned in 18 years of education.
He should have gave you a paycheck.
You betcha. I said, listen, I don't know you, young man, but I want to tell you, I wrote the book for you because you're not being taught the truth. And he thanked me and walked away. That's enough to float your boat, isn't it? You believe him saying that? He meant it sincerely. Why wouldn't he? He would say, listen, I read it. It was trash. He didn't say that.
The first time I heard you was on William Cooper's broadcast. It was a replay years ago when I was searching for knowledge on the history of the world that I didn't know. So it was people like William Cooper and yourself and others that I used to educate myself in those fields. And through everything you and William and everybody taught me, how to research these things and how to document properly so that you have some credibility. And then when I was with Robert Bruce, who had the show Waking Up the Masses on Truth Frequency Radio, the 6 months I was there, you made a couple appearances on the show, and I sat there and listened and learned and then researched myself to find out what you were telling me is true. The way you put things across are elegant but simple. So the person who is craving this knowledge learns something, grows from it, expands their own comprehension of reality.
I just got this DVD finished yesterday. In fact, I picked it up this morning. The guy made a copy for me. His computer knows far more than I do. So I typed it on my computer, put it on a disk, and I now got the disk to make copies so I can get it out. I'm going to get it out and put it out. Have a guy that put it up on the internet as soon as I can.
And that'll be available at ralphepperson.com, right?
No, it will be. Please, I'm a computer novice. I know how to make DVDs, but even then, they're simple. I don't hire crews, spend $10,000 and then get back $3,000 in sales. I say I'll do it the cheapest way I can. I write these, I produce them, and then I narrate them. So I do that. They're DVDs. I do everything myself. My own files, my own records, everything. The internet, as you just pointed out, is a brilliant thing for me. God, I can get pictures and quotes and things taken off of the internet and show a picture of the guy and the book and everything else. So I just do it all myself. But I don't know if you remember, Bill Cooper said on the air during the time, I stunned him. When he called me, he said, "I want you to come up and do 5 programs." I said, Bill, I'll be happy, because he was a couple hundred miles away. It took 4 or 5 hours to get there. So I got there, and we did it over 3 days. But during the program, he said, he was shocked. He said, you did all of this without me, meaning I did not teach you these things. You did this on your own. I said, Bill, I don't even listen. I've tried to listen to you on the. I did try to listen, but we couldn't get his shortwave radio in Tucson. It was a bunch of static, and it's hard to listen. It fades out. So anyway, he stunned him.
Ralph, I know you have to leave, so I just wanted to thank you for joining us and giving us a couple stories tonight. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Thank you very much.
That was Ralph Epperson, author of the book The Unseen Hand and A New World Order.
Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
Because the John Lebang Show will be right back
after this.
That's guaranteed. Yes. Quality One Painting. For interior and exterior painting needs, call Tom at Quality One, 313-982-2986. Tom will give you free estimates, senior discounts, and I can tell you from meeting the gentleman, he's one of the nicest guys on the face of the planet. So for a quality paint job with a professional attitude, call Tom at Quality One Painting. That's 313-982-2986. 313-982-2986. Quality One Painting.
You're listening to the John Lebang Show.
It's what's cool on radio.
Well, I'd like to thank Ralph Epperson again for stopping in and talking to us, giving us a couple little stories. Normally when he does a talk show, he's doing some sort of presentation, and because he wasn't quite prepared, I just was like, well, let's just talk for a little bit and give us a few stories. And man, he had some pretty cool stories there. So I want to thank him again. Thank you for listening, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get back into this because we have some more stuff to discuss, and there's just not enough time to do all this. Yahoo News. Social media pages that appeared linked to Mr. Caesar, blah, 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 displayed evidence of emotional turmoil and political rage. That's right, folks. That's how it's being reported. The person identifying himself. Don't you love how they are wording that? The person identifying themselves. He was seen wearing a pro-Trump hat. You know, the Make America Great Again. That's where they're getting the MAGA bomber from, ladies and gentlemen. Made for TV, the MAGA bomber. He was attending Trump rallies, so of course now Trump is linked to this guy. Trump is linked. It's all Trump's fault. Has nothing to do with Maxine Waters, raging people like we talked about 2 weeks ago, or Hillary Clinton, you can't be civil, or Eric Holder, kick them while they're down. It has nothing to do with those people. It's all Trump's fault for rallying, getting these people all riled up. It has nothing to do with people who beat up each other in the streets at protest rallies. It has nothing to do with any of that. It's all Trump's fault. Trump's fault for everything. And you know what that relates to, ladies and gentlemen? Anybody who voted for Trump, it's their fault. The country's this way. Has nothing to do with CNN. Has nothing to do with the Democrats or how they act. Not at all. It's your fault. And all the innocent little Democrats that got bombs, oh, now we're supposed to feel sorry for Hillary and Obama and Soros and Maxine Waters and Kamala Harris. We're supposed to feel sorry for them because they got, sent a fake bomb. None of them went off. So on Heavy, which is another website, states this. That dude is a registered Republican. So now all Republicans are bad, because that's what's going to be portrayed in the mainstream media. And he was involved, or his family was involved with fighting the Communist Party way back when. So the poor little communists are the victims here. This is straight out of Hollywood. Here you have a 56-year-old part-time pizza delivery driver, grocery worker, and former stripper.
Oh, baby.
Once charged with threatening to bomb an electrical company in a billing dispute. Law enforcement knew about this fella, and they capture him at an auto parts store in, of all places, Plantation, Florida. They had fingerprint and DNA. So the fingerprint and DNA evidence helped identify the suspect, which means his prior arrests were used against him because they for sure had his fingerprints. And I could almost guarantee by the wording of some of the people at the press conference that they had his DNA on file as well. So it was easy to track this guy down. And if they couldn't just find him, all they had to do was look for a MAGA, a white van, a sexual predator-looking van with MAGA stickers all over it, Trump stickers all over it, hate Hillary stickers, hate CNN stickers. See, and they have all this stuff set up, ready to go. I mean, they figured it out. That's what I meant. They figured all this stuff out in just a few days, yet we still can't figure out what the frick went on in Las Vegas. Isn't that interesting? The Soros bomb seemed really suspicious because doesn't call the police right away, doesn't do anything. Oh, sorry, there's a bomb. There's a bomb in the mailbox. A very strange package in the mailbox, sir. I didn't mean to call it a bomb. I don't know if it's a bomb, but maybe I should take it to the forest. What do you think, sire?
Just do it.
Very well, sir. We're being told they're investigating him, but I want to see him. And that's the video surveillance. Here we have prominent Democrats. We have a mainstream manufactured news outlet. All places which would have massive amounts of security cameras. Yet we don't have them available to us. And the longer we don't see them, the more they can do with that footage because Hollywood is so good at things. And as the one gentleman said earlier, this was like a Hollywood thing. And they got to live it on the spot. cameras going, plot happening, stereotypical MAGA supporter. I mean, it was perfect, man. You couldn't have got a better script. And let's look at the people that got these things. The Clintons. Irrelevant, right? What's the point of sending it to them? You're hoping that she goes to jail, right? I don't know. I mean, if you're a Trump supporter, you're hoping, you would think. I mean, this is just me. You would be hoping she'd be going to jail. So why bomb her? Why waste the time? Sending a crappy bomb for $3. I mean, it was cheap. That's why. Obama, Barry's not coming back to the White House. At least not anytime soon. It's not like those people would get their own mail, so anybody sending this stuff wouldn't be thinking of that. And if the postal worker did, somehow a postal worker brought it, who was the postal worker? Who's the one that picked it up? Where were they dropped off at? We don't know because there's no postal stamp on there. It's way too convenient of a storyline. All the biggest Democrats, the one network that has been displaying the attacks on Trump and the fake newsers. Now let me put one more thing because I brought it up earlier and we only have a little time left, so we got to get on out of here. But remember when Qazi Mohammed Rizalawad Ashin Nafis was aided by the FBI in his efforts to blow up the Federal Reserve? You don't remember that, do you? October 2012. Another October surprise. They supplied him with the bomb materials that didn't work, and then they busted him. They busted him. From the vantage point of just a layman like myself, who's watching going, whoa, things don't add up, and this is awfully convenient. Awfully convenient. Right before the midterm election, he drops maybe the biggest October surprise. Not to mention that it's keeping our eye off that stock market that I told you about, ladies and gentlemen. It was a little over 2 weeks ago. I told you to watch out for the stock market. But I won't get credit for that because nobody listens to John. John doesn't know jack squat about anything. Then we have the caravan that's coming up. That is going to be a huge issue. All these issues coming down right before the election. What a freaking convenience, isn't it? And before we go, I'd like to read you some of the messages that have been coming into the John Lebang Show about this specific topic. Brian writes, I smell distraction tactics by the left. Sue says it's called deflection from the immigration invasion. David writes, didn't she call for violence within the last 2.5 weeks? Yeah, a lot of people did. Bob says, sure is funny, none of it went off. That's right. Nobody got hurt by this attack. Debbie says there will be false flags and more. The Dems are desperate to win at any cost. John says we know they were made by liberals because they didn't work. That's a nice pun because libs don't work. That was great. I like that. John, A+ today. Ken says they were mailed 36 years ago. Keith says these bombs were all designated, assembled, packaged, shipped, received, opened, discovered, and announced by the same people. Total B bloop. And finally, Steve says, darn it. That's it, folks. Thank you for joining me. I'd also like to thank all of our affiliate stations for carrying the John Lebang Show. Don't forget to go to my website. That's www.jlebang.com. Tune in for the second hour as we are having our annual Halloween night. You'll hear a special rebroadcast of Shady and the Mystery Freaks. So until the vibrations of my vocal cords reach your ears again, ladies and gentlemen, this is John Lebang signing off from the Banger Studios.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff. Tune in again next week. Same time, same space, same station. 3,
resistance is futile.